Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're back looking at another controller review. This time, we are looking at, the Afterglow. This is by PDP, and this is a Switch controller that has color changing insides and all that good stuff. It says Prismatic color selector lighting. This is holographic, by the way, and you can see it changing color. Here it is. I do apologise. Look at that light on me. Bright lights on this thing. I am a sucker for controllers that have see-through like plastic and lights in it. Like, fantastic thing. It's going to change colour on there. There are colour changing modes and stuff. I'm not going to go over that today because it's great, but like you can do things with, like, this is breathing. I think at the moment you can have the sticks change colour. But that's not why we're here. That's a really cool feature, and that's partly why I wanted it. But let's talk about the controller itself. And again, we're going to be comparing it to the Pro controller, as always, because it's pretty much the same. So, if you don't know, this is what I compare everything to. This is one of the best things you can get for the Switch. So, this controller sticks a little bit more loose than the standard controller for the Switch. So, you'll see they still travel. They're quite high. They click in nicely, but I'm just blinding myself. But they feel nice. They do feel nice. They're a little bit looser. So where these, they're a bit. They don't quite go as far. They don't go as far. Stretch out as far. Sorry. They don't bend as far out. Whereas these bend out further, and they feel a little bit looser rather than sort of tighter. When you're spinning the analogs. I don't know what the term for it is, but basically where it's connected, it feels like it can turn quicker. So it's got that looser feel to it. The D-pad is definitely not one of the best D-pads, but we'll test it out. It's all good. But it works really nice. The triggers on this thing, which might be quite hard to see, you've got the these are really nice and big, very nice and easy to push. I like these a lot. And then the back ones, rather than they're very much clicky. They feel very nice. This controller is really nice for putting your hands on the top of it. Basically, they're very big. They fit nicely. The triggers themselves, I know it's a bit hard to see, are curved. So when your finger rests on it, it goes up the back of it, and it's super nice. And as you can see on the back here, we have paddles. I only have this side triggered to B. I don't think this one does anything yet. Which also comes off. Which, pop that off. That's what it looks like without it. Pressure pads. Nice. But yeah, so this is one of the. I have two controllers with paddles. Well, one's paddles, one's buttons. But this feels incredible. I really like this plastic part on the back to click it in there. But the controller itself, what's it like? The buttons themselves, nice and juicy. Big, chunky buttons. Compare it to this. I would say they're slightly bigger, but by like a millimeter, not even a millimeter, like half a millimeter maybe. You compare that to some of the other controllers on the Switch. The other one, the face buttons can be a bit smaller, but these face buttons, nice and clicky. These I actually think I prefer to the Pro controller. Yeah, it's not a lot, but these buttons here, I like the sound they make, and they go in. They kind of go all the way into the. You're not going to be able to see this, but basically they go all the way in, so they're like, it's basically flush with the plastic, which is great. I love that. More so with the X. And then you've got all the other buttons up here. Now, the one confusing thing that messes with me is that there's the home button, like where my finger is. That's the home button. That one there. And then plus and minus are the two at the top. This, on the other hand, plus and minus are there, where my fingers are, and home and capture are there. Now that keeps throwing me off, where I'll keep pausing or accidentally going to the home menu. So, not a biggie, but this one doesn't have rumble in it, but it does have weights. So there's no rumble in this controller. So there is a wireless version of this. Now, this wired version is about 25 quid, which is a steal. The wireless version is about 50 quid. Now, this is all the same features to my knowledge. This doesn't have rumble. This does. I don't know if you... I think you can turn the console on with this. I haven't tried that. Maybe I should try that. Also, as a bonus, I also have the Xbox version, the exact same controller, but for the Xbox One. Now, I'm not going to be specifically doing this, but I can tell you that PDP, these controllers feel fantastic. And again, the buttons on this are also really good. Now, the biggest difference is this one actually has your rumble in it. And this one obviously has analog triggers, because most games do on those consoles. But as a bonus, if you're interested in that one, like, that is a fantastic controller as well, as is this. I think these PDP Afterglow controllers are really, really good. Now, if you don't like wires, you can spend the extra money on it, and you can get the paddles on the back with this thing, and you can have a fantastic controller with the lights and do all the fun things with the lights. But for 25 quid, I think is how much this one was. It might be 30 quid. I can't remember the exact amount. Or £30 if you want the correct currency name for it. This is awesome. This is a really good controller. And we're going to show it off with some gameplay. And let's test out this D-pad. Let's see if this D-pad is any good for a 2D game. Ooh, hit the down button there by accident. Wasn't intending to. Now, bear in mind, right, I have played this game with a SNES controller pretty much my entire life. Buttons, face buttons feel great. Nice. Like, there's no issue with the face buttons. The face buttons are some of the best part of this controller. Triggers, oops, obviously doesn't use them. But the D-pad is a little bit smaller. I would say maybe possibly one of the worst things about this controller, but that's not to say it's crap. It's just, it's very flat. It doesn't go particularly far. It feels like this is a sort of D-pad you might have issues with playing like a fighting game, for instance, and accidentally hitting the wrong inputs or putting in extra inputs you didn't mean to. But in terms of the actual controller itself, by the way, I have B mapped to the back button, so I'm going to push this back button. So there's a jump button mapped to it. So let's see what happens. Can I get through this level using that button? Let's see if it's any good. It's pretty responsive. Yeah, look at this. No issues. Now, I don't have the other... Oh, the other side's mapped to A. I didn't realise it was mapped to A. Awesome. So I can switch Kongs very easily. But jumping with it, no problemo. Probably not the best level to try this on, but let's use the back button. Yeah, look at that. Marrowing it. Alright, we're going to try and use the back button. I'm not going to play the whole level, but does it feel nice to play? I'm definitely finding it easier to play this with this controller than I was DK. Just a little bit, but just bear in mind that the D-pad is a lot smaller. It's not going to be perfect. I don't think I'm going to get in there without doing this properly. Can't do it. Good thing to try, actually, trying to slide... But yeah, it's an okay D-pad. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Alright, so apart from the loud engine noise, I found Mantis Burton Racing. We're going to give this a go. I can't remember what the accelerating button is. So it's either this or A. Is that one? Or am I just getting pushed along? Oh, yep, pushing the wrong button. But this is to show off the, whoa, hello. This is just to show off the analog sticks mainly in a more of a 3D game rather than a 2D environment. But as you can see, I'm not having any issues apart from my own skill here. What are the buttons? But yeah, all in all, good analog sticks for this controller as well. Cannot complain. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't think the left one does anything. I need to find a game which uses both, really, don't I? Like a first-person shooter would be the perfect thing to test this out on. But yeah, there you go. Switch back to Micam. So, the PDP Afterglow controller. Very, very good wired controller. I don't think it's as good as the Pro controller, but this is what I've been using a lot because I don't have a problem with cables. This cable is very long. I'd probably say this cable is about 3 meters. maybe 2.5 to 3 meters. I don't have a problem with it, but there is a wireless version of this controller which you can get. Very, very nice controller for half the price. And that's the thing, right? You're not going to get your rumble. The biggest feature about this is the lights and being able to mess around with the lights, but works okay for 2D games. The D-pad's okay. It also, by the way, has its own you can plug headphones into it, so any game that lets you use separate audio, I'll just blind myself, you can do that, so that's good. It's a feature that this controller does not have. Fantastic face buttons. I really like the back buttons on this as well, even though they just click in. They feel nice. They got some distance on them, a little bit of travel time, and they feel nice to push. The sticks are nice. They are a little bit looser, so if you don't want them to be quite as tight and move a little bit more than your standard Switch controller, then this is a really good option. Just be aware you're not going to get any rumble in it, and I don't think it can turn on the console. If it can, great. It's an added bonus. But yeah, it's a nice controller. It looks good. It's decent. It's a good, like, third-party controllers have come a long way since when I'm back from using them on older consoles. But I would recommend, if you want a controller for a second player, or just want a new controller it feels comfortable to hold. Let's not forget about these back paddles. These are really nice. This is a really nice purchase, and it still feels like it's got some weight to it because it has weights in it, so it doesn't feel super light. So yeah, 100%. You want a cheaper alternative to the Pro controller, and you want a controller that feels good and plays well. Yes, the D-pad isn't quite as good, but everything else about this controller is good. It's good quality, and you're going to have a blast using it. And the added benefit that it looks nice. It's plastic, and the colour changing. So, hopefully, again, you're enjoying these videos. I'm actually enjoying making them. It's something different, something fun. I wanted to do it for a while. If you have any comments on this controller, or you want to know more about it and my experience with it, like, feel free to put comments down below. I'll try and answer any. But yeah, let's do it for me today. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down in the description as always. And until next video, we'll see you then.